Hey guys, I woke up this morning to a pretty big patch to Diablo 4 with the very requested feature of buffing nightmare dungeons, and here we go, we have it. For gameplay adjustments, experience rewards, they've significantly increased the experience awarded for completing nightmare dungeons, as well as significantly increased the experience gained from killing monsters inside of nightmare dungeons. In addition, which I don't think anybody was expecting, Helltide chests now provide substantially more bonus experience when opened, and they've significantly increased the rewarded experience from completing individual whispers across the board. They've also fixed an issue where no experience was awarded for completing the holdout style event that can occur after finishing dungeon objectives. So this was that intermission room where sometimes you would have to fight like waves of enemies for 30 seconds, and for some reason that gave no experience. Even though that was some of the highest density of elites in the entire game, it was giving no experience. In addition, some huge changes. In general, the Helltide roaming bosses will now more consistently drop higher quality loot, which is great because those things used to give like no loot at all, even though they took like a long time to kill. And most importantly, players can now teleport to their nightmare dungeon directly through the map. What this means is that now you won't have to run all the way to the nightmare dungeon. You're not going to have to try to hold on to like 5 of the same nightmare dungeons so you can chain run them. It's very simple. You're just going to be able to teleport straight to the nightmare dungeon when you open it. And also, your weekly bonus cash from world bosses no longer have a level requirement. I have no idea what that is. We also got a really important developers note that I wasn't expecting, and that's that we are currently working on increasing the monster and elite density of endgame content and plan to introduce this change early in season 1. So they are looking at density in the end game. That is something that is going to be coming in season 1. So what does this mean for the game? Well, nightmare dungeons are very likely going to be the new like best way of leveling. How significant is this experience? I can't test it on mine because I'm level 100 already, but people are reporting that it's about double from before. So you're basically getting double the experience that you were in Nightmare Dungeons, on top of the fact that you're no longer wasting time running between them. And you're also going to be leveling your glyphs, and the loot is better in general. So I think without question, Nightmare Dungeons are going to be the way to go. And you're probably going to be fighting stuff that's, you're clearing stuff that's like efficient, but not so hard that you're slogging through it. So I'm really happy for these changes. I think Nightmare Dungeons obviously should have been the best. And the really nice thing about being able to teleport to Nightmare Dungeons is you're no longer going to be in this awkward situation where you're forced to like do the same dungeon over and over again, even if it's bad affixes. Now I think you're going to be a lot more liberal with re-rolling your bad affixes, throwing away the resource burn or the crit damage reduction, and only doing the affixes that are really, really good, because the distance doesn't matter. You just teleport right after you're done anyways. All right, and I wanted to show how this new change works. You can see here I have my Wraithwind Wilds Nightmare Sigil. I'm just going to go ahead and open it. And then when I go to the map, it's right here, and I can just left click to travel directly to Wraithwind Wilds. I don't have to teleport over there and run. I can just very easily teleport. And after the quick loading screen, I'm going to be right outside, ready to go. And this is just going to be so much better. You can see I am right here, and I can go ahead and enter my Nightmare Dungeon. Now, we also saw a bit of balance changes to the game. These aren't nothing massive, but let's read the developer's note. We're continuing our efforts to make all class builds feel fun and powerful with another round of balance updates. In particular, we have seen community feedback stating that basic skills aren't impactful enough in combat. These changes will not change the fundamental relationship between basic skills and core skills, but we hope that they help smooth out the leveling experience while we explore additional ways to strengthen them. We are also increasing the power of some skills that players feel are lagging behind. As we look forward to future updates, we're monitoring other heavily discussed topics such as minion survivability and build parity. Please keep sending us your feedback, and we'll see you in Sanctuary. Now, most of these changes aren't that huge. I'll kind of go over the Barbarian stuff and very quickly talk about the other ones. But in Barbarian, Lunging Strike base damage increased from 30% to 33%, and Fury Generation increased from 9 to 10. So this is going to be the general trend for all of these. It seems like basically across the board, base skills have been increased by about 10%. So even though this is 30 to 33, that's actually a 10% base increase. Is that going to be game breaking? Is Lunging Strike going to be the new meta? Absolutely not. But I think it's going to help a bit, especially in early game while you're leveling, where your build is a lot more reliant on those skills. Again, Bash, Fury generated increased from 10 to 11, and the Fortify increased from 10% to 20%. For Frenzy, base damage increased from 20% to 22%. Again, that's a 10% bonus. It's not 2%, it's a 10% base bonus. Flay, bleeding base damage increased from 36 to 40%. Really cool change here. Double Swing, actually, base damage increased from 36 to 40%. I'm really excited because I'm probably going to be done with the Whirlwind Barbarian soon and actually playing a Double Sling Barbarian. Also, small changes to Kick and Charge. We got the cooldown reduction and some more damage when knocked into terrain. I think that's what they're trying to do with Barbarian, make it so that you slam things into walls. Again, most of these changes are pretty small, just minor slows, an increased barrier. They did buff some of the Ancients because Wrath of the Berserker was just way too strong. And across the board, we also saw some legendary aspects getting buffed. These values are kind of hard to tell you, but Bull Kathos, Earthquake, Dust Devil, Windlasher, Devilish, and Iron Warrior all getting some pretty minor buffs, but we'll hopefully let them, played. For the other classes, I'm not going to go through all of them, but again, you can see the same philosophy. Earth Spike, base damage increased from 16% to 7%, and some more spirit generation. Wind Shear increased from 17% to 18% with more spirit generation. Claw, base damage from 20 to 22%, and Maul, base damage from 20 to 22%. Again, same idea here of just buffing these base skills across the board by about 10%. Necromancer, I think Reap, Decompose, Hemorrhage, and Bone Splinters. I think that these are all basic skills, and it's the same idea. About a 10% buff to all of these. Same thing with Rogue, Invigorating Strike, Blade Shift, Heart Seeker, and Forceful Arrow. It's about a 10% buff to all of these as well. And Sorcerer, Spark, Frostbolt, Firebolt, and Charge Bolt, about a 10% buff to all of these. And obviously there's other stuff, things like Frozen Orb and Fireball getting buffed. There's a bunch of other stuff that's been changed, but those are probably something that you're going to want to, look at a class specialist for, because I can't tell you how good Fireball going from 40 mana to 35 mana is. That's just probably better for a sorcerer. So anyways, I'm really excited for these changes. I think that the Nightmare Dungeon change is something that basically everybody wanted to see. Being able to teleport there is just going to be so much faster and so much easier and save so much time, so you can actually go and do Nightmare Dungeons. I'm really glad that they've moved away from the meta of just like spamming Uldur's Cave or Blind Burrows or Champion's Demise, and now you're actually going to be rewarded for doing the harder content in the game. Hopefully we'll see some more of these balance changes when it comes to Season 1, and I'm really excited to see, the Season 1 content announced in general. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.